Tennessee Titans fans, the end of the 2024 season is almost here, and I think most of us are welcoming that with open arms as we look ahead to the future. 2025, the quarterback position very much up in the air. Today I'm going to be ranking the top 10 options that the Tennessee Titans have in 2025 at the quarterback position. Some of these are not good options. Some of these are not things that I want to do at all, but we have very limited options. So I've tried to combine things that I want them to do with things that I think are realistic. And this is the list I have compiled. Let me hear from you in the comments. At number 10, running it back with either Will Levis or Mason Rudolph. That is the 10th option out of 10. I don't think this is realistic at all. I think, for one thing, the Will Levis experiment is over. I don't really think there's any going back on that at this point. Seems like the organization is completely out on him. Mason Rudolph is a career backup. That's all he is. He can come in there and be aight at best, and that's pretty much what you have with him. And one thing you have to remember, Brian Callahan and Ran Carthon, if they are back in 2025, assuming they are back in 2025, they are coaching and GMing for their jobs. They are both on the hot seat. They cannot give the job to one of these two guys. If you do, everyone's getting fired, and they know it. It's only a matter of time. So the 10th option out of 10 is running it back with either Will Levis or Mason Rudolph. At number 9, a later round draft pick. And you can insert any name you want. Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck, Jalen Milroe. I have no interest in any of those guys. None of those guys are going to be able to come in and start right away. And again, Brian Callahan and Ran Carthon, assuming they're back going into 2025, they are coaching and GMing for their jobs. None of these three guys are coming in and making a difference anytime soon. If you think these guys can be good down the line, it's going to be down the line. Brian Callahan and Ran Carthon are going to need somebody who can be good right away. It ain't going to be any of these three guys. I haven't really seen anything from any of these three guys that gets me excited about them at all in 2025 and even beyond. So I have no interest in taking a later round pick. The Titans took Malik Willis in the 3rd round. They took Will Levis in the 2nd round, but still, it felt like a little bit of a reach both times. I don't want to reach again for anybody that we think maybe possibly could potentially down the line maybe be something. At number 8, Jake Browning. Now, in some ways, I see how this is a realistic option because of his association with Brian Callahan, because of the experience they have together. Jake Browning looked good when he had to take over for Joe Burrow last season when Brian Callahan was in Cincinnati. But I also think this is an unrealistic option because of what I've already said. If you're Brian Callahan, if you're Ran Carthon, if you are coaching and GMing for your job, is Jake Browning going to come in and do enough to save your jobs? Is Jake Browning, I mean, maybe if you can somehow get him to come in and be a backup, I mean, maybe if you took one of those later round draft picks and you just let Jake Browning start while they get ready, but that doesn't sound like a winning scenario to me. I mean, Jake Browning, yeah, on one hand it makes sense, but on another hand it makes no sense at all because the Titans have got to be better next season or everybody's getting fired. So Jake Browning, 8th. I don't think that's going to be a realistic option at the end, but for right now, you have to throw it out there because of his association with Brian Callahan. At number 7, Derek Carr. This is one of those that, again, I have no interest in this at all. I think Derek Carr, yes, slight upgrade from Will Levis or a Mason Rudolph, but I mean, Derek Carr, he's going to come in and he's going to do what he's done in New Orleans. He's going to be hurt. He's going to miss some time. He's going to get you about 5 or 6 wins, so maybe the team would be that much better with him. But ultimately, if you are coaching for your job, if you are GMing for your job, is Derek Carr saving anyone's job? No. Derek Carr is getting the Titans a couple more wins probably. I mean, if you had Derek Carr starting this season for the Titans, they might have gotten 2 more wins. They probably would have beaten the Bears maybe week 1, maybe the Jets week 2, or maybe one of the games against the Jags. Like, you have 2 or 3 more wins with Derek Carr, but you're not a playoff team with Derek Carr, so that doesn't really excite me at all. Number 6 on this little top 10 list is Kirk Cousins. Now, on one hand, I think this is one of the more realistic options because it's one of the more affordable options. Kirk Cousins, I mean, Atlanta's going to have to bite the bullet. They're going to release him. They're going to take the contract. And so you could get into a situation like Russell Wilson with the Pittsburgh Steelers this year where you just don't have to pay him a ton of money to come in and play. But is it even worth that, is my question. What you saw from Kirk Cousins in Atlanta, do you think the Atlanta Falcons wanted to bench him? Well, of course not. They paid him $180 million. That was not something they were eager to do, but they had to because he, along with the Atlanta Falcons offense, was so bad, they had to go another direction. And now you're going to talk about another year older. It still doesn't look like he's right from his injury. Just doesn't look like the same guy as Minnesota. This is an option again. This does not excite me at all, but it is realistic because it's affordable. Again, I don't know if Kirk Cousins is coming in and saving anybody's job. I think if you get Kirk Cousins in 2025, I think a lot of people are going to get fired. I don't think Kirk Cousins is saving anybody's job. Let's get into the top 5 options that I think the Titans have. And number 5, I said Justin Fields. And I don't like this. I know I had Sal from the Sick Podcast on my podcast, Two Don't Talk, yesterday. He likes Justin Fields. He's intrigued by the idea of Justin Fields. I just don't see it with Justin Fields. I understand he can do some things with his legs. I understand he can run, but his accuracy scares the crap out of me. I mean, I'm a big Mike Tomlin guy, and when Mike Tomlin got the first opportunity to go away from him, he took it with really no questions asked. I think Justin Fields is just a little better version of Will Levis. He's better than Will, but it ain't by much. So again, Justin Fields ain't saving anybody's job. I don't think Justin Fields is going to come to Nashville and revive his career. I think Justin Fields is going to come to Nashville and it's going to be more of the same. I mean, with slightly more quarterback runs. Doesn't excite me. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of intriguing options, and it's a tough offseason to need a quarterback. At number 4, Sam Darnold. Now, I'm conflicted on this because in my heart of hearts, I don't think Minnesota is going to let Sam Darnold leave the building. I think they're so good with him. I guess maybe it'll depend on how it ends for them if they crash and burn in the playoffs or something, but I don't think the Vikings are going to let Sam Darnold leave. But if they do, he's going to get paid by somebody. He's going to get paid by the Raiders or the Browns or the Giants or somebody out there or the Titans. If Minnesota lets him go, this does become a very realistic option for the Titans. And Sam Darnold could save some people's jobs. Sam Darnold could come in, get this team 7 or 8 wins so that Brian Callahan and Rand Carthon, if they're still around, could say, look, we're better with him. Let's keep building this thing. We're better with this guy at quarterback. We're a better team. We won more games. Sam Darnold, I think, could come to Nashville and save some people's jobs. I don't think the Titans are winning a Super Bowl with him. I don't think Sam Darnold's going to be the savior of the organization. I think at best you would get another Ryan Tannehill-like situation where this guy comes in, takes the job for, a few seasons, has some good moments along the way, but you're never really a threat to the Bills or the Ravens or the Chiefs or some of those teams in the AFC. But if the Vikings let him go, that's a realistic option. And speaking of the Vikings, you could throw out the option of J.J. McCarthy as well, the rookie they took in the first round. I mean, if you do keep Sam Darnold, there's rumors they could trade him. But consider me very skeptical about trading a lot of stuff for a guy that hasn't taken a snap, who's already had a major injury. You don't even know what you've got in him. I think that's a huge risk to make a trade for him. In the top 3, this third one may be a little controversial. I haven't heard this thrown around a lot, but I said Matthew Stafford. I don't know all the details of his contract with the Rams, but I know it has been a rumor at every turn that the Rams are interested in trading Matthew Stafford. Now, I don't think Matthew Stafford, like Stafford's getting toward the end. As a matter of fact, I could see a realistic option where Matt Stafford retires at the end of this season. But if he comes back, Matt Stafford, I know these last few weeks he hasn't done anything great, but I mean, Stafford, go look at his numbers. Stafford's had a pretty good season with the Rams. He had one stretch, it was honestly when the Rams were losing more than winning, but Stafford was playing some really good football this season. Now, again, over the last few weeks, he's kind of slacked off. It's not that he's playing bad, he's not doing anything great. It's an option. It's an option. I don't know what you would have to give up to get him. I certainly don't want to give up too much because, like I said, he is getting toward the end. But I think Stafford's played still. I mean, I'd take him over Cousins. I would take him over Cousins for sure. I'd take him over Fields. I'd take him over Darnold just because he'd probably be more affordable. Number 2, don't throw anything at me, but at number 2, I said Aaron Rodgers. I was on the Aaron Rodgers bandwagon a couple of weeks ago, and then he was so bad against the Bills on Sunday that I said, okay, maybe not. But I will say this. The Jets, much like the Titans, their season's been over for a while. I think on the road at Buffalo, tough weather conditions, I think this was a case where the Jets just wanted to get this game over with. So I don't want to read too much into Aaron Rodgers' performance against the Bills. I know the Jets are a laughing stock, but Aaron Rodgers has not put up bad numbers this year. As a matter of fact, I mean, I don't know how close he is to 4,000 yards passing, but he's not too far off. Titans have never had a 4,000-yard passer. If Aaron Rodgers put up the same numbers this year or next year as he does this year, he could be the closest one we've had. I don't know. It scares me, but I could get into it. I mean, why not? Just do something fun. If the option presents itself, sure. He has the house in Franklin, Tennessee anyway. And then at number 1, I said if you lose to Houston tomorrow, as of this recording, you could take Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. Now, a lot of scouts are coming out saying that they don't buy the Shedeur Sanders thing. They don't see him as a first-round talent. Yes, that scares me. Yes, that makes me skittish. I haven't really heard anything about Cam Ward yet, though. We'll see as the month transpire. You guys know, leading up to the draft, it is a roller coaster ride. I know Jackson Dart from Ole Miss, people are talking more about him these days, but I think, you know, if you feel good about one of these guys at the top of the draft, if you're up there, I think you take a swing at it. Made a video about it the other day. This organization needs some life, needs a shot in the arm, needs a pulse, and I think one of these guys could do it. But like I said, if you get to the draft and for whatever reason, it's just like, dude, these guys are not good enough to take up here in the top 5, then, you know, maybe it's Rodgers, maybe it's Darnold if he's even available, maybe it's a trade for Stafford, whatever the case may be. But right now, the option I think you need to take is taking a guy at the top of the draft. I wish it was a better quarterback class, but right now I think for where the Titans are and where they need to go, I think if the option presents itself this currently, and it can always change, is the best option. Let me know if I missed any realistic options. Don't get in the comments saying we need to trade for Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson. Be realistic. Don't just make up fantasies. Be realistic in the comments. Tell me what options I didn't like that you do like. Tell me what options I do like that you don't. And tell me what options I might have missed out on. Talk to me in the comments. Tighten up. Bye, everybody.